So this is the CSL Hub V2. I think it's possibly the most useful wheel for Assetto Corsa No Hesi at the time. It improves most of the shortcomings of the outgoing version. Anyways, all of this was sent by Fanatec for review. I have an affiliate link with them if you want to support the channel. But as always, all opinions my own. They have no interference in this video. Let's talk about main features. Because this is a hub, it will be compatible and usable with almost everything out there. And I'm going to say almost because there are a few cases where this is not recommended at all. It has two types of mountings, 3x50 and 6x70. That means if you have a steering wheel from Momo or AMP with these types of mountings, well, this should be compatible. Because this center hub is expandable, that means it will be compatible with wheels from 275 millimeters or 280, which is the size of this wheel, up to around 350 millimeters. But in my opinion, that is not the recommended size for it. As you can see, physically, the V2 is essentially the same as the V1 minus the redesigned caps. At least visually, that's basically it. But there are a few important improvements on this one. The price is compelling. It's 150 euros with the light quick release or 199 with a choice of 7 steering wheels. This wheel is part of Fanatec's promotion. Choose any wheel in pedals and get the CSL DD for 199. So there is value in this. Besides the button caps, there are a few important improvements that made the previous generation frustrating. The big one first, which is now there's a metal brace at the back that mostly resolves the massive bending issue. And I say mostly because if this is extended to its maximum, there will still be some bending. Secondly, the shifters are massively improved from the last generation. This is before. One of the worst shifting things that I've ever heard. This is now. Still not the best, but you know, better feedback, better sound, better clickiness. Lastly, the CSL Hub can be used with the Club Sport quick release. That means you can unlock all of the podium direct drive wheels, all of the torque, all the time if you want to. And also this will be compatible with the upgraded quick release 2.
Say the line, Bart!
Whenever it comes out. The build construction is bare bones CSL style. It has serviceable plastics, a minimalist design. I've used the V1 hub for 2 years and honestly I didn't have any problem with it, even if it bends somewhat using bigger wheels. Therefore, I haven't experienced any problems with the V1 and I don't expect this V2 to be any different at all. The CSL can be expanded by undoing 3 bolts at the back to a maximum of 6 centimeters that will service wheels up to 350 millimeters. Though I would say that the maximum size that you should use this with would be 330. You can still do the 350 if you want because of the positioning of the handles. And also because of the hubs format, this is not compatible with all types of wheels. If you want to use a NASCAR wheel from Fanatec or any sort of deep dish wheel with this, you can do so. But you'll be severely limiting yourself because the ergonomics won't service those types of wheels. And speaking of ergonomics, they are pretty great, at least in my opinion. It's easy to get access to any of the buttons. There are 14 in total, plus the 7-way funky switch and the shifters. What I always loved about the layout of the CSL Hub are these 3 buttons. So we have this left and right button, this nipple switch on both sides. And I'm saying this because you get 2 functions basically in the same space as just 1 button, something super practical. And because of the type of button it is super practical to use in stuff like No Hesi or drifting or whatever. So I would say this type of hub is excellent for road cars or even truck sims. The buttons are exactly the same as the previous generation, so is the clickiness, but the buttons are now domed. It makes the click, I think, a little more refined, but nothing special. It is decent, it's not the best from Fanatec. Structurally, it has definitely improved. When it's closed up to somewhere midway, it has little, if any, movement at all. When extended, there's still noticeable movement, so realistically, the recommended size would be up to 300mm steering wheels, in my opinion. I am pretty sure if this brace was just 1mm thicker, it could probably fix all of this. In terms of quick release, it doesn't come pre-installed, at least it didn't come in my own, but installing the quick release, it is very easy. If you need any help, the manual will have it. Just follow the diagrams. With the smallest wheels that I've owned, the 275 and 280, you can't really go below that because it won't be compatible with these modules. These will serve very well in open wheelers, stuff like Formula 4 to 2s, stuff like Caterhams. It will serve them very, very nicely. All the buttons, all the layouts are fantastic to use. But of course, if you need something with more buttons, the 21 might be too short for you. In a pinch, I think this will also serve GT3 cars. 21 buttons should serve for most functions with no problems whatsoever, at least in my opinion it does. Of course, providing you have a 300mm wheel or smaller. Something bigger than that, I found that it's really not good for GT3 cars. If you have something like 310, 320 or 330, you can use it, but it's not the best for GT3s. The perfect use for this CSL hub though, just like it was with the V1, are road cars, in my opinion. This is especially true in Assetto Corsa due to the amount of road content available. I've been driving the CSL hub with a 330mm wheel for drifting or performance car driving like in the Toge or at Shutoku. It really feels like the CSL hub controls were made for this use. Especially no Hesi, as it is excellent to have the road car controls like indicators, lights or wipers so close to your finger. Using a Club Sport quick release unleashes the power of the podium wheelbases. This would be a decent choice for drifting, as the extra weight of the hub can slow down the CSL wheels somewhat. Leading to a very important point, which is the weight. For example, when I'm using this with the 330mm wheel, the combo is almost 2 kilos. That means if you have a CSL wheel, the 5mm one, and if you want to use a wheel that big, you'll feel that the force feedback won't be enough in terms of force. It might feel a little bit numb. When you boost it with the boost pack, it makes it much better, but still it really depends on the size and the amount of weight you are going to mount in this. For 300mm wheels or a smaller, I think it would be okay, but anything else, you would definitely need the boost pack. Also, the wheel is compatible with PlayStation 4, but the controls are severely limited. As a conclusion, I like the V2 hub, but we have to be fair. While it's definitely better, it still has the same issues as the outgoing version. The shifters are better, but once again, they could be still better. The models are sturdier, but still could be better. There is value here for plenty of drivers, for road car drivers, for example in drifting, like I said, or no Hesi, or if you are on Automobilista 2, or even on Euro Truck Simulator, this would be cool, especially if you are starting with a bundle of the CSL DD. This could be a great choice for you over the P1, for example. I would like to thank all the channel members and Twitch subscribers for supporting the channel, and check out this wheel, the McLaren V2, which I think it's excellent value as well for the Fanatec.